And then I hit a bit of a roadblock because another company, who shall remain nameless, but it's to do with time freedom, and that's all I'm going to say, approached me about buying the company or amalgamating the companies. And I spoke to that individual and thought, you know what, save me having all the hassle of running everything. I'll just bring everyone across. I'll work this business and I'll make my money that way. Well, it was a disaster. We didn't, between 70 of us, none of them apart from myself made any sales. And that's when I was getting inundated with calls saying, please bring Exitus back. I had a nice feel. We like the name. We like the quality of the websites, etc. And that's where we are today. I brought it back last summer. I reduced the prices down from the top level being 15,000 right down to 7.5. And it brings us right now up to December last year. And I was watching a program here in actually, I'm sorry this is such a long-winded story, but I think it's important. Yeah, 12 minutes or whatever it is, 10 minutes. So, I'm conscientious of the time, but if people want to know the story and the history, here it is. I watched a program called Dragon's Den, and Dragon's Den is the very equivalent to the US Shark Tank, which I used to love watching over there, except we don't do millions of dollars. It's the biggest one's like 150,000 quid. And one of the dragons on there was a guy called Nick Jenkins, who sold his online business for $250 million, I think it was, 125 million pounds. And the guy had been on there with a business model on the internet, which is what I had, and he said, you'll never make any money without a yearly or monthly membership. You just can't. You can't do it. You can't sustain it. You'll lose interest and it will fail. Well, that hit me, not then, at 3 o'clock in the morning. I woke up like, Christ, that is me. I'm building something that's bound to fail. I can't do that. So this is when the idea of the membership model came in. And then I thought, right, how do you simplify everything? If you do a membership model, simplify it for people. What's a good figure? Is it 250, 500, 1,000, 2,000? And I thought about it. I thought $1,000 is a great figure. $1,000 can pay a mortgage. $1,000 can pay some rent. $1,000 can do a car payment. It's enough to do something. And so that's why I came up with $1,000. I spoke with another big marketer who told me he'd made $427,000 with a $1,000 program. Excited, except the actual final formulation of Exitus was put into position. Then I wanted to make it an automated system because I knew that people were unlike me. They couldn't sell, didn't want to sell, or were bored with selling. I also knew that people were blowing out all their friends and contacts and needed a way to generate leads and prospects. So this all came about, and we got to where we are today. The final piece of the jigsaw was bringing in different types of products. I get really frustrated when I hear people say, it's just about the money, the products don't matter. The products don't matter if you want to be shut down. The products don't matter if you haven't got a plan for the future. The products don't matter if you don't want to learn anything. The products don't matter if you want to remain ignorant, in my humble but accurate opinion. All right? The products are important. The products mean you have a valid business, and we're doing more and more and more with that. And I'll make an announcement on this call that no one else knows about, so you can have a heads up. All right? I went and took out one of my products because I didn't feel it was good enough. Fun enough, that other company I mentioned has now got that as one of their products, so it's not good enough for me, but it's good enough for them. Just a little dig there. I couldn't resist it. And I introduced the Val Smith's a good friend of mine. Val Smith's interviews are brilliant, the Legends interviews. Then we have Magnetic Persuasion, and I managed to get hold of a copy of, we call it The Village. It's actually called something else, but we called it The Village. That sold for $1,250 on its own, that one audio. So tie that in with the health and wellness aspect. We've got a magnificent product lineup for $1,000. It is astonishing. And you can learn everything about marketing. You can learn about personal development. You can learn about personal growth through our educational products. And you tie all that together, and Exitus is what we have today. But because we have a business model that is every single year you pay $299, we're always going to look to improve. We're always going to look to get new things on board. And of course, we'll be doing our live events, which I think are going to be staggering. So that's how it came about. That was the longest answer to a very short question. I could have just said, I thought about it and put it together.
Yeah, also, it's a good story. It's good to know how these things come about. Sorry, carry on.
It's like for anyone watching this thing. It doesn't always go smooth. Things go wrong. We've experienced that with the software's working perfectly, and suddenly we realise if a one-up gets a one-up gets a one-up gets a one-up, we hit a glitch. But, you know, we fix it quickly. And I'm expecting to still get little things, and we're always adding to the back office. Like, for example, you probably noticed the FAQs are now live in the back office. The FAQs are now live on the front end of the website. I've got staff now handling some of the calls for me, which we talked about. The package, the product package now is its own website, which is now being rebuilt again as we speak to make it more attractive and more value. And it'll be a retail product as well at $19.95. And by being a part of Exitus, you get it for $1,000. So it's a great saving right there. And there's lots of things in the pipeline to make it this journey more exciting. So that's where we're at right now. And let's go through the questions, and I'll tell you about my bad news at the end. How about that?
Okay, you're going to make a
sure everyone who's online waits till the end.
Right, I can be on the phone. I love the fact you do.
It is madness. I don't know what I was thinking of, but it's different because so many program owners hide behind sit in office, wherever they are, and they hide behind what they're doing. They never get on calls, or they might come on the odd call, and they rely on other people to do everything for them. What you end up with then is a lot of fractious situations where you have groups peeling off, doing their own thing, their own meetings. You can't come in my meeting. You can't come in there. People being stolen. Bad practices. Oh, join me for $1,000. I'll put you in at 22,000. Join me for 500, and I'll do it. All these discounting things which we do not allow. I can't say we can stop it because some people will always be unscrupulous, and that's the nature of our industry. But if we find out, you're out. It's as simple as that. If anyone's caught discounting or selling my product for less than $1,000, and I find out about it, you're binned. And I like that. I've had a number of people who I've made them semi-proof by PayPal or bank statement because I heard certain things. And I've got people out there watching the internet. So we want to stay strong. We want to have integrity. We want to have all these things. And one of the reasons is because I'm taking your calls. And there's no way if I'm taking a call and spending time on the phone with someone that they then go off and go and speak to Joe Blow over there. He says, you can join with me for $100. And the person who got that prospect loses that money. That is an absolute no-no, as far as I'm concerned. So when people call, we monitor it quite tightly. We have a database. We make a note of the name, the time they call, what result was, if they've spoken to us directly, or whether we have to call them back, when we call them back, if we leave them a voicemail message, what the outcome was. If they say they're going to join, we tell them where to go. We then let the person who's joining them know. If someone says I need a phone call, we diary the phone call and let people know about that. And it's going incredibly well. And I think it was last Wednesday, I think we signed up 22 people in a 4-hour period from calling us. So the sign-up rate from people calling us is really good. But the interesting thing is this, that a lot of people go, and because they can ring us, because they can call me, they don't. They join, they pay their money, and then they call and say, hey, I love your system, I've joined, I just wanted to reach out and say hello. So, yeah, taking the calls can be hard work. It's difficult sometimes because it's late at night with the time zones, but that's how I set it up. That's why I've changed it to an 800 number, and I've now got a follow me system, so I've got people helping me, so I can say, right, between 5 and 9 you're answering, between 9 and 12, etc., and then the rest goes to voicemail, and we call back the next day. So everything with that is working really, really well. It means we do the selling, answering the questions, so your members do not need to do any of that stuff. And I want them to say to people, hey, I don't do any of that. Because the minute you become a salesperson, that person thinks they've got to sell. So I don't know, I haven't got a clue. Watch the movie, watch the presentation, and then follow the instructions. That's all you need to say to someone, and that's how you make your money. Because if you do that enough times, you can't fail. This is infallible business. You cannot fail.
Because, and it gives you
these questions, Paul, is this. Yeah, look at this. I've had a message come in while we've been on this call. So someone's ringing me right now, but it goes to voicemail. Well, I'm on a webinar. Hey, real life, proving it works. I was on Paul's webinar with Eric's webinar. Everything, you see, what people don't realize, everything is interlinked, right? People come on to our business they've either done really, really well or they failed, or they're somewhere in between, and that accounts for everyone. The biggest thing, one of the big reasons I've gone a lot down the personal development route for my product is I want people to realize that it's really a mindset thing. It's a mindset adjustment, right? From I can't, I won't, I don't know anybody, I can't make it, I've never made it, I'm never going to make it, to I can, I will. With this company, it can work. And think about this, and this is very interesting. If you join our business, and I haven't forgotten the resources, if you join our business and you spend $1,300 for $12.99, and you spend a couple of $100 on resources, so $1,500 out, and you don't expect massive results in your first 3 or 4 days, but you plug in to you guys, to me, to our training, us working together, you plug in and you do take some action. And for me, I say you need to do 8 to 10 hours a week in your business. That's not 8 to 10 hours of marketing. It could be an hour listening to an audio that gets your head right because you realize that's what you need to do. It could be listening to a Jack Zufelt interview, which is brilliant. It could be listening to Larry Winget, having you crying with laughter because it's really, really funny and it puts you in a good mood. It could be watching a movie that shows you how to master YouTube marketing when you didn't know how to do that, and now you can learn, you can start putting stuff on YouTube. So that's all part of your training. The second thing is to learn the resources and learn how to do it. Once you've done it once and you've learned that skill, we sell educational products, you can teach other people to do it. So you've spent your $1,300 and it takes a month to get going, 2 months to get going. Then you make your first sale and you qualify. You're halfway home. Your next sale, you get your money back, all bar $300. 2 months go by, you make another sale, you've doubled your money, but the guy you brought in gets a one-up, who gets a one-up, who gets a one-up, who gets a one-up. You made $5,000 right there. It's just unbelievable when you think about it. Name a bank where you can put $1,000 in and have 10 grand back at the end of the year. There isn't one. So this brings me back to making the money is not difficult, providing you do the right things all of the time. So resources. First things first. Everyone knows people, Paul, Eric, everyone knows people. They say they don't. What they mean is they don't have the confidence to go and talk to them, right? They haven't got confidence. If they were making $5 a week, I promise you they'd be ringing everyone they knew. It's down to confidence, and we instill confidence in people because we give them that money. So when you pick up the phone to your brother-in-law who's been a lazy git and taking the mickey out of you for years, say, I've just made $3,000 without picking up a phone. Do you want to find out how? You can do it with confidence. So what the resources do is help you make money. And they do it in a number of ways. We negotiate the best deals we can, and we have a number in there now. And what we have right now is this. My number one method of choice is voice broadcasting. I still think it's the best way because you get real life people calling you back saying, I'm interested in your business. And that to me has got to be better than anything else. So we have that, and we have that for starting as little as $299. There's full instructions, all the scripts are there, and if you don't want to record anything, we show you how to get it recorded for $30. So it's next to nothing. Voice broadcasting is a big, big part of our business with Go Ringless and all those things. And I pulled in a guy who's one of the biggest players in the industry only last week, and we were talking. He says, I only do voice broadcasting, nothing else. Right? I have other people that never ever dial out. They only have incoming calls. They don't speak to anybody who doesn't call them. It's a great work ethic if you can get around that and you can work that way. Secondly, we have SMS text messaging starting at, I think it's $150, where we send out 2,000 text messages to people. We have a very specific lead capture page for that because we do all confirmed opt-ins. They go to a page, they put in information, and you can then contact them back. They see the presentation, and then they call me. And they talk to me, and they love it, and they join. And that person who did the text makes some money. I've had people make $3,000 from a text blast in their first week. Now, I've had people who've also done it who've made nothing because it's just luck of the draw and, you know, the way it is and the leads, but it works. Last week, I introduced email marketing, $100 to email 10,000 people. These are all less than 30 days old, And all we do with the email marketing is broadcast your lead capture page, nothing else. We get them in from being out in the, in the internet, directed into your funnel, through your lead capture page, into our automated system, hopefully onto me. So that's $100. Come on, you don't have to do anything. Set it up and sit back. If you dial in, use MLM leads for that, so you can literally buy some leads, buy 5-6 hours of dialing. It's not expensive, and they will literally dial your lead with the script you give them and drive people again to your lead capture page. Everything has got to be driven to the system, because the system videos is what really trips people's trigger. And they say, once someone's in that, they go, well, I can do this. I just got to put someone in my seat. If I can get someone in front of this presentation, I can make money. And that's it in a nutshell. Then we have leads, where interviewed leads, surveyed leads, where people have gone through a survey, questions, and if you really want to pick up the phone and dial people, you can. I don't recommend you do that. I might even take it. You've got to be good on the phone. You've got to have tenacity. You've got to have willpower. You've got to be dedicated. You've got to say, right, I'm going to dial 50 people a night, and not many people want to do that nowadays. So my top 3: voice broadcasting, SMS text messaging, email marketing. If you do one of those or a mixture of those, you cannot fail to make money. Yeah. It's impossible. Let me put it like this for you guys, right? I like analogies. I think they're important, right? Let's imagine, Paul, you and I are going to sell coffee at a convention, all right? And we're going to sell, it's really good coffee, and we're going to sell it for $1 a cup. So we get, and the hotel gives us permission. We go into a room, there's 100 people in the seminar, and at half time they say they're selling coffee at the back, and they come over and we sell coffee to 10 people, right? How much have you made? And roughly 10% of the audience has bought coffee from us. Excellent. But the coffee's so good, the hotel manager grabs us and says, look, there's a bigger convention up the end of the room there. It's got 1,000 people in it. So we trundle along with our trolley, we go in there, the break comes up, same thing happens, 10% come through, we sell our coffee. How much we made this time? $100. But what's different about our coffee? Nothing. What's different about nothing? The only difference is 10 times our income is the fact we appeal to a bigger audience. The more people you put this in front of, where they say no or yes is irrelevant. I'm a great believer that 80% of people you show this to, so actually we're not quite as low as that, but 80% of people you show any business to will not be interested. The 20% are will make you a fortune. No, don't be upset if your best mate says it's not for me. It might not be for them now, but it might be for them later on. It really doesn't matter. That's the way to do it. It's a numbers game, and if the first blast doesn't work, so what? Do another one, because eventually you're going to get the sale in, you'll make your one up, you'll start making money, all your money you've spent will be back in your bank, and you'll be sitting there with 5 or 6 people who all owe you a one-up, and your focus becomes, let me help my people I've brought in, rather than I need to do another voice broadcast. Build your lines, however many pay lines you want. If you want $5 a month, get 5 people, and help them qualify every month. You're done. And
all you need to do is make sure to log into the back office, don't you?
Say it again.
All you need to make sure they're logging into the back office.
Yeah. It is really that simple, and just people listening don't know what qualify means. We have a one-up program. I'm sure this is one of your questions. What we do is this: you join our business, you pay $299 as your membership for the year. Now let me just cover what that gives you, just so you know. It gives you all your websites, all your hosting, all of your products to sell, the license to resell the products, fantastic back office that monitors and tracks your business, lead capture pages, autoresponders, and my team helping you make $1,000. It's way, way, way too cheap, trust me. But that's the price right now. And I have no plans to increase the price. That's what it's going to be. Then you pay $1,000 for our products, and that comes to you. That comes to Paul and Eric and every single person listening on this call. And it comes to you however you want, right? And we're actually looking at some new ways of getting money to you guys as well. The industry is changing. The world is changing. I transfer money from my UK bank to my American bank. It's there like an hour later now. In the old days, 3 weeks, you're ringing, where the hell's my money, So getting money around the world is very, very simple, providing it's trackable. So the one-up plan is very simple. Your first sale, no matter how it comes in, goes up to the person that introduced you. So if we were on this call, Paul, and you'd introduce me, and I now introduce Eric and his money would come to you. That's me qualified forever. Well, Eric, doing something. For me, I go and get my next person A. They give me, I make $1,000, and I help them get qualified, which means give me another sale. They now move off. I've got that person with me. Help them get qualified. I made another sale. In fact, with just one person coming into your business, after you've qualified, you could make $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a year. And I can give you some real life stats from people who've rung me up and said, I've been in this industry for 10 years, I've made zero income, and I've made $7,000 in 2 weeks in Exitus. I had a person who rang me up and said, my brother has never joined me in any business ever. He's joining tomorrow, he's my passer. I have a couple that came to me saying, well, with $1,000 you can't make big money. They made $12,000 in a day. 9,000 of it came from pass-ups. I've got a couple of guys that came in, they made $66,000 in their first month. So the big money is here, and it's great for the people with big money. But we are all about $3,000 to $5,000 a week, and the one-up program where you get qualified and then people pass a sale to you is just key to doing that. And let me tell you this: how do you make 100 grand a year in my business, our business? 100 sales after you're qualified. But is it? Could 100 grand come from 50 sales who get a one-up, or 25 who get a one-up who get a one-up, or 12? What other business could you go and sponsor 12 people yet still make $100,000 a year? Not many. That's what we got here. For me, are really key. I want to make it so that we have, if people want to buy the Genesis product package, the name Genesis came about because it means like new beginning. I'm not a very religious person. People sort of think it's something to do with the Bible, but it's not.